And now we're looking at a newer version of the Android OS running in an emulator, and this is Android 4. You'll notice that things look a little bit different here. In the older version, we had a whole section over to the right here where we had some hardware buttons, or where the emulator was simulating some hardware buttons that we would have. And in Android 4, you can see that there's actually soft buttons that are part of the screen itself that have similar functionality here. And on our home screen, we'll notice something different. If we long click here, or long press if you have an actual device, it only has this wallpaper option. It doesn't give us the option to create shortcuts. Instead, in this newer version, if we want to create a shortcut for an app, we have to go to this section here, which is called the app drawer. And if we click on this, then if we hold down our finger on a particular app, it'll let us drop it onto the home screen wherever we want it. So if I drop it here, now you can see that that exists as a shortcut right there. And if I want to create a folder, I can just drag and drop things and then they get grouped together, and I can of course name my folder. And if I want to add a widget, I can do something very similar. I can go into this app drawer here and I can choose widgets, and from here I can go ahead and add any of the widgets that I have available. And we can scroll through these with your finger by just doing a drag. Let's go ahead and add a clock here. So now if I hold this widget and I can drop it, let's drop it onto this other home screen. Now you can see we have that widget in place. And I had briefly mentioned the difference between these soft buttons here and the hard buttons in the other version of the emulator, but we're not going to get to that right now. These are some buttons that allow us to do some navigation inside the Android operating system itself. But we will talk about this concept more when we actually develop an app and see how we might utilize these things.